Notre Dame took it to Navy, plain and simple. This game was really not close for most of the game. And a big reason for that was Sam Hartman. Now, Sam Hartman comes in from Wake Forest in the transfer portal, and a lot of people expected for him to take this offense to a new level. Now, we're not going to get too overhyped about week with zero game after one game, but there was a lot to be excited about if you're a Notre Dame fan. Sam Hartman looked really efficient. He looked really confident throwing the football. And that also goes against another thing that I think a lot of people had questions about was, is Sam Hartman a good quarterback, or did he just thrive at Wake Forest because he was in that system? So that's one thing I think he showed, is that he can be a good quarterback. He can make really good throws. I mean, there were a couple of good throws in the first half where he was facing pressure and he still found ways to hit guys downfield. So they really needed him to evolve this offense. They needed him to take this offense to another level. And we saw him do a lot of exciting things. He finished with 251 yards and 4 touchdowns. A good start for Notre Dame. This is a Notre Dame team that, with passing attack, I think a lot of people were worried about what could this team actually be. Could this team actually be a well-balanced offense? And we saw the rushing attack start early. Audric Estime, 95 yards and a touchdown. Now, he did get hurt, and that was a bit of a concern, but he did come back in the game, and he saw what he could do. At 230 pounds, he's an absolute beast to try and tackle. And at times, it looked like Navy wasn't going to be able to stop him. So I think that's a great combination. You have a passing attack that appears to be ready to take a step forward, and then you have a rushing attack that will do a lot of great things as well. So that's something to keep an eye on going forward. Notre Dame should be in good hands with what they have at the skill positions. A freshman that we saw break out, which we saw a number of freshmen have good performances in week zero. Jaden Greathouse would be a great option for Notre Dame's passing attack. 2 touchdowns on the game, and he looks really good, looked very confident in what he can do. And I think the other thing is Notre Dame's got some depth in skill positions. So you look at running back, you had a number of guys make key contributions, and in the passing attack as well. You had Greathouse, you had Chris Tyree, you had James Thomas. You have a number of players that could take a step forward. Another player that impressed me early was Deion Colsey. I think he could be a reliable pass catcher for Notre Dame as well. So obviously the offense has some things figured out, or at least they're building upon it right now. The offensive line obviously is one of those positives too. And then you look at the defense. This is the defense last year that Navy torched for 255 yards. So we knew one thing they were going to try to do was slow down that rushing attack. We knew that Notre Dame wanted to take it to this team. And even though you're facing a triple option team, which triple option worked early on, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but Notre Dame had something to prove. And this defense played with a ton of speed, played with a ton of confidence, and was very disruptive. Held Navy to just 126 yards in this game. So that's a huge win for them. This is a defense that a lot of people expected to be very good. It's a very talented defense. And I think it's a reason why Notre Dame will test a lot of teams and be able to win a lot of games this year, because they are able to swarm to the football. They're able to be disruptive, and they're able to hold teams like Navy, who they don't see very often. That's the one thing, or one of the biggest things that Navy had going for them, is that the teams they play don't face the triple option nearly enough, at least not to that triple option. So they have the ability to maybe sneak up on teams, and they're able to kind of gain an advantage because teams don't play them very often. So the fact that Notre Dame took it to them and held them to 126 yards says a lot about what Notre Dame can do going forward. Now, what does this mean for the future? Notre Dame will face a number of great teams, a number of playoff teams. They will face teams like USC, who we saw today. What they can do to be a balanced team, whether that's on offense, to be able to move the ball down the field, or this defense to be able to slow teams down, is going to be the biggest thing, the biggest question for them. And right now, it's obviously just one game, so we don't want to overreact. But Notre Dame looked really good. They look like a team that could make that happen. They could compete for a playoff spot, but again, is just one game. But I really like the talent level that we've seen. I really like the potential of what this team could be in terms of the 2023 season. And you're seeing an offense that is ready to take a step forward, an offense that could be more balanced than we've seen in the past. Because really, the passing attack is the one thing that we've seen that was lacking for Notre Dame. So now that they're able to take a step forward, this is also with a new offensive coordinator. So that's really promising. And obviously, Sam Hartman has a big role in that. His ability to provide leadership, provide consistent play, combined with a swarming defense is probably the biggest thing there. And I'm excited to see what Notre Dame has in store for the 2023 season. And right now, things are looking really good. Now, if you look at what Navy did, obviously the quarterback battle is still up in the air. I think that Ty Lavatai had a solid game, but you obviously need to see more from him. And whoever is going to compete with him has an opportunity to show what they can do. But Ty Lavatai, I think, has the best chance of giving this team what they need. I think the triple option did well early on, and then obviously Notre Dame was just more talented and figured things out. But I think that the triple option still has a place in college football, and we saw that early on. We saw that with Navy's first couple of drives. They had some gash plays that Notre Dame didn't look like they knew what was going on. And then obviously as the game continued, Notre Dame figure things out. But Ty Lavatai has potential to be a really good quarterback at 6'2", 210 pounds. He he has good size, so that adds another dimension to it. He brings a different element with that kind of size. And I think that the offense also has potential because he's running it as well. So this is an offense that should be just fine. The defense has some work that it needs to do. And I think the offense will be able to, they'll be just fine. They'll be able to do what they want. The triple option will give teams fits and they'll compete with a lot of teams. They're just not going to compete with a team like Notre Dame. So we saw some good things from both sides. Notre Dame obviously is a much better team, a much more talented team, and we saw that today. And the Fighting Irish are hoping that it can continue that success for the rest of 2023.